Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Deputy Secretary Beaudreau, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And let me just say thank you for always being responsive to my calls, particularly for helping us with the expansion of the Naval Air Station range. I really appreciate your work there.
Absolutely, and truly thank you for all of your work, including with the tribes to, fingers crossed. I think we've been very responsive, so thank you.
Thank you. Let me jump to water issues and the drought. In 2019, I sponsored the legislation in the Senate to enact the Colorado River Drought Conservation Plan. And in the infrastructure package, we included $300 million to implement that plan. Also included within the infrastructure package was a piece of legislation that Congresswoman Susie Lee and I worked together on, which dedicated about $450 million for the competitive grant program managed by the Bureau of Reclamation to create a large-scale water recycling project that, as you well know, would have a benefit to serve more than 500,000 households in Southern California and Nevada. Secretary Beaudreau, can you provide me with an update on how the Bureau of Reclamation is implementing these measures?
Yes, absolutely. And again, one of the more exciting provisions under the law for all the reasons you said around the benefits with water recycling. So the Bureau of Reclamation on November 3rd published the guidelines for qualification under this program. That's the key sort of step in terms of getting projects through the door to accomplish the goals of this provision. So on November 3rd, again, published the guidelines for implementation.
Thank you. And then similarly, in the Inflation Reduction Act, there was an inclusion of $4 billion for the Bureau of Reclamation to be used for Western drought assistance. I had sent a letter to the department asking them to detail how they plan to utilize those funds as well. And particularly had asked the administration to deliver a detailed plan within 90 days of sending that letter. Can you speak to the status of those funds?
Yes. This is one of the key tools that we have in order to address the severe crisis on the Colorado River. Bureau of Reclamation has put out an RFP seeking proposals to access those funds. We have a number of goals around that, including the long-term water efficiency improvements that Senator Heinrich mentioned. I will be at CRUA later this week to talk specifically about these funding opportunities and our goals coming out of it. And so we haven't dictated particular levels. We want states and water districts to come forward with proposals to wring as much opportunity.
So not a set of strict guidelines like previously with the funding under the bipartisan infrastructure package. This funding is more of a combination of some guidelines, but you're looking for states to come forward as well?
Correct.
Okay.
We're trying to use it as an incentive for states to come forward and reward conservation in that way.
Okay, thank you. And then I want to go back to staffing, not just in our national parks. As you well know, Nevada relies on BLM partnership just because over 80% of the land is owned by the federal government, most of that managed by BLM. In recent discussions with stakeholders from my home state of Nevada, I continue to hear that BLM does not have enough staff to just even address the pre-existing work that is out there. Can you touch on that? Is it an issue of not enough resources to hire staff, or the challenge of actually finding the bodies that are interested in the work?
So I couldn't agree more, Senator. This is one of the major challenges that we have across the department, including the Bureau of Land Management. And I spent a good deal of time talking with State Director Raby about exactly this issue. Part of it is cost of living and the challenges associated with living in Reno these days, for example. And so we are trying to come up with innovative solutions to streamline onboarding. I am encouraged that OPM has committed to being a good partner in trying to provide us with streamlined ability to onboard folks. But it is a tight labor market, including in Nevada, and it is one of the challenges we face.
So when you talk about the cost of living issues in Reno, it's going to happen across the country. So are you looking at wage increase as well, or the ability to do so, or that's a combination of things that you're, and do you have the ability to implement that if need be?
So We are trying to be as competitive as possible, including for particular types of positions, trying to work with OPM on direct hire authority to onboard people as rapidly as possible and compete with labor markets. We're also trying to take advantage of expertise from across the Bureau of Land Management in order to meet priorities, including, for example, in Nevada with renewable energy permitting.
Thank you. And I know my time is up, but let me just say, for just the existing work that needs to be done, and I think we need to streamline the permitting process. I think that is so important. But just the existing work that needs to be done is a challenge because of the lack of resources when it comes to just bodies for the BLM workers there as well. So whatever you need, whatever challenges you're facing, if there's a way that Congress can help, please, I would hope that you would reach out.
I appreciate that very much.